Hey, podcast family. Welcome to this week's episode. I'm so excited for you to deep dive in all of your learnings as a licensed professional. But before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about what's happening over at the Waxing Guide. So I have a really exciting class coming out for somebody who is wanting to double, triple, or even quadruple your income with just Brazilian waxing. So if you're somebody who's doing 20 minutes, 25, 35, 45-minute Brazilian waxing, this class is for you. So stay tuned for that. It's coming out very soon. And how you can be the first to know is by simply going down to the descriptions and finding one of the freebies that suits your needs. So I have two freebie options available. Number one is going to be a complete checklist for all Brazilian waxer needs in the treatment room. And then your second freebie is going to be a complete PDF with everything you need to get started in a suite as a licensed professional. My gift to you to literally save you hours and hours and hours doing research. I've done it all for you. So you can go into the description and click those below. And I am so excited to take you to today's episode. Bye. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Waxing Podcast. I am so excited to be bringing on my next guest, who I've been wanting to have on for so long, which is Barbie. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I love being here. I love your podcast. I love you. I've been following you from my other page, PWH Cosmetics, because to manage two pages is such a lot of it's a lot of work, and I forgot to follow you from my main page. But I've been following you for a long time, and I'm just so proud, and I love how how you have evolved, and I can't wait to see your products coming out.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, speaking of products, you just launched a brand new one, which, by the way, I just took it to my studio. I work 1 day a week. And so I forgot it the first week, and I walked in and I'm like, damn it, I forgot the midnight collection. And so it took me 2 weeks to bring it into my studio, and I pulled it out. By the way, we're talking about tweezers. I pulled out the tweezers and I started using it on my clients, and I'm like, ugh. And I told them, I'm like, because obviously they can't relate to my happiness in the moment, but
Right.
I'm like, you have no idea what it feels like to think your tweezers are good, and then you get a new fresh pair. It's like getting
It's
your
the
nine.
best feeling.
Yeah. I'm
It's
like,
like a new car. Like you felt like your old car was perfect, but after you get your new car, you're like, oh no, forget my old car. Like this is like it drives smooth, smells great, it's sexy, it's clean, it's shiny. It's like the same feeling. I love it. I love it.
I know. What made you venture on into a new color? Because before that, you were doing the holographic ones, which are so pretty. Still, you have those, but were
Mm-hmm.
you was it a mood change that got you to start with the midnight collection?
Yes. So I feel like when you start up a business or you launch a product, you just go with what you feel. At least that's how I felt. A few years ago when I launched the rainbow collection, the holographic collection, I felt like I was a different Barbie. I'm still the same, but I feel like as you grow up, some things evolve and some things change. So I feel like we needed like community, and I needed like a more slick, serious, professional set. It's the same quality, it's the same name, it's the same everything, but the black room, it just gives you like a better persona. Like I feel like, I don't know about you, but like when I'm in my chair working on clients, I feel like I'm a different person. It's like you have like a mini
Yeah.
alter ego that comes out when you're like with your clients. You're Kirsten and I'm Barbie, but it's like a different version of ourselves. So I feel like when I'm using tools that I know that they're made with love, that they're professionals, that they're high quality, I feel like I'm also giving that to my clients, and they can also feel it throughout my vibe at the moment. So I just feel like as soon as I grab my pair of tweezers, especially the black ones, I just feel like a baddie. You know what I mean? It's like, and I just wanted to bring that to the whole community, and so far people are loving them.
Well, and I just want to say too, I love how you put a point to it that they're not different from the other
Mm-hmm.
ones versus just the vibe, because your tweezers, I remember seeing them for the first time. I think I shared this story whenever I posted about them and got them in the mail, but I had seen one of my friends, Mackenzie, posting about the tweezers. And at the time, I think I had been using, I don't know, just any random thing that I would see, right, in terms of tweezers. like I would grab them at shows and things like that. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, these are really cool looking. They're a little bit more expensive than I'm used to spending. And that was like the period of time where I'm like, okay, but I want to try them, right? Do they match the quality and like the price? And they do. So whenever you get them in hand, you realize like, you're like, okay, these are more luxe, but it comes with the experience, the quality, the way that it makes you feel. And so like 10 out of 10 now, the way that I even see the price, I'm like, yeah, duh. I wouldn't even go anywhere else. But like,
But like talking about the price, when I was starting out, I feel like we all use Twizzerman and all that stuff.
yeah,
Rubies, Tweezerman, all those brands. And I remember, having to buy like a bunch of them because sometimes like they lose their grip so quickly. And I'm like, my brother gave me the idea of like, so why don't you like come out with your own? And I'm like, who's gonna buy tweezers for me? Like it's like who's gonna buy tweezers? Like I feel like you can go to like a grocery store and just get them, and you can still do, but it's like you give them like the special touch, and that goes to Enzo as well. Like once you solve a common problem or a common issue in the community, people forget about the price and they're like, okay, it's solving the solution. So it's like you're pretty much paying for the convenience of like avoiding to repurchase so many tools over time. It's like, yes, I'm spending this much on this product, but it's gonna last me a longer period of time that if I go to the grocery store, or if I get like a warmer from Sally's Beauty Supply that it's maybe a lower, quality.
I love that you said that because that's been like my biggest thing that I'm telling people. I'm just like, but you don't, wait until you see the difference in the usage and what problem it solves, because then it's like you won't value it as a price, but you'll value it as what you get out of it in terms of like, yes, you're not going to go to Sally's every day and purchase like a new warmer that essentially will break in 6 months' time. So I agree with you. And that's, I think, why I look at your brand and I'm like, I really find similarities into like what I'm hoping to create in the industry as well, which is quality over quantity. And it's really
Mm-hmm.
important that it has that esthetician touch, that people know that it's coming from a really good place. And I think that was where yours came from. You were wanting something that were going to give people high quality, but also like precision in their waxing abilities, which I think is like amazing. Also, you turned me into a pointed tweezer girl. I was like,
Oh,
so
really?
yeah.
Those are my favorite. Those are my favorite. I love them so much. Love them.
So I know that this came with many years of experience before you decided to dive into the world of like manufacturing and things like that, which by the way, we could off camera talk about this all day long because I am
Yes,
like,
please.
oh my gosh, what a different set of rules.
Yes.
But coming from that, you have a lot of experience under your belt, and you also own your own studio, and you are just somebody who I think someone could learn from in a ton of aspects of business. But I would love to talk about your beginning years as an esthetician.
Okay, so I started my brow journey as a brow artist when I was 17 back in my country, Venezuela. That was a job opportunity that I was offered, but it's not like I woke up one day and I'm like, oh, I want to be a brow artist. When I was 17, um, Instagram, I think it was like started to come out, but it was only to post selfies. Like you wouldn't see like businesses posting like stuff on Instagram. If anything, I feel like Twitter was a little bit bigger in that sense, but you still were limited on like posting before and afters and videos and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to say is like I didn't have like any extra like outside influence of like, I want to become a bar artist. It was just like a job opportunity that I got. And I started working there, and honestly I was super nervous on messing up somebody's eyebrows because I didn't have any
Yes.
experience. And back then, like you wouldn't go to a place, it was very rare to go to a place and ask for a specific shape. You just sit down, let them do their thing, and that's it. If you're uneven, you wouldn't even notice that your brows were uneven. So I was like coming from like that time. And once I was starting to learn how to like map properly and how to like shape eyebrows, I started falling in love with it, especially because I saw the difference. Like I was creating something different than the rest of the market because again, they were used to just wax eyebrows, not shaping anything, and that's it. I was doing the opposite. I was taught how to like rehabilitate an eyebrow. So if you had any gaps, any imperfections, I was taught how to like recover that. So to me, that was like that's what I want to specialize in, and that's what I do nowadays. So then I moved to the US. And then I had two jobs at the time. I was, moving around in a bike. I had to like drive 40 minutes back and forth to both of my jobs. And then one night I was driving near to like a Dunkin' Donuts, and then next to it there was a Brow Bar. To me, that was the first time that I saw a Brow Bar. I didn't even know that was a thing. So then I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. I want to like go in there and ask like, what's that about? Because I know how to do eyebrows. So I went there, and at that time they were just looking to hire a receptionist. My English was crap.
You're like,
I could barely speak English at that time. And they're like, okay, so let's do something. Let's just get you on the front desk so you can like polish your English. I'm gonna be honest, I hung up the phone so many times because I couldn't understand what were telling me. I was the worst receptionist, but I was determined to like get into the treatment room. So in the meantime, I was working on getting my license. After I
yeah,
got my license,
how is that process? I mean, just because you had been already doing it, so you're like, I already know how to do it.
well, to me it was exciting because in my country it's not common, or it's not a requirement to have a license. You can just basically
Mhm.
do whatever you want. So I never received like a formal education. Not saying that the Florida education for beauty or estheticians are the
Is any
best. It's
better?
not the best, but at least I learned something new. Like sanitation stuff, disinfecting stuff, like all that stuff that now I apply to my business, and now I teach my students to. Um, so it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. The facial part, I just didn't get into that. I didn't love it. I just was there to get my license for, to do eyebrows. Then I got my license. I was promoted to go into the treatment room, and that was like the best day of my life. I was in my zone already. I was learning so much because now I'm used to seeing. I was used to seeing like a specific type of brow. I don't know if you agree, but I feel like depending on the ethnicity, you will see like different types of eyebrows. So here
Totally.
in Florida, South Florida, you have so many different ethnicities that I was able to like practice or see like different type of hairs, different type of skin tones, textures, like stuff like that. So to me that was like a fun process, and I learned quick. So I was like, struggling with the English while trying to like explain to clients and sell products and make money. I loved it though. Then unfortunately I got laid off at that job. And then I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, it was like so bad. I felt like a boyfriend just broke up with me. I was so heartbroken. But what I'm trying to say is that I was never planning on like having a business. I was daydreaming of it. I was like, what about if I have this one day? Like, how about like if I have it, what would I name it? Or like what colors would I use and stuff like that. I was just thinking of it, but I never had like the courage to actually go and do it. So I feel like that was like the universe giving me a kick in the ass and like, okay, you got to like, you have to do this.
It's usually how it works, right?
Yes. So for some of them, for some of us, yes, I'm gonna have to say that I have encountered people that right after beauty school they just go and open up their own suite, and I feel like that's so brave on their part because it's not easy to take the decision to like open up a business. It's not easy. You have to be mentally prepared, emotionally prepared. It takes a toll, physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, well.
Yes.
So I started at my parents' living room. I upgraded to my bathroom. I get rid of my bathroom. I had no bed, no TV, nothing. I just had my massage bed. I would sleep on the floor at night, and that's how I started.
This is like so incredible. This is why I literally love podcasts so much because it gives you such a deeper story into a person's life other than like the Instagram world of everybody's
Yeah.
perfect, And so it's so amazing to see where you are now, but to know that you are in many people's shoes when they first start out of school. Maybe they don't have the money to open their own suite, and maybe they don't have the clientele yet, but they have the goal to do it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what pushes them to whatever I need to do to make this happen, I will, which was you clearing out your bedroom
Mm-hmm.
and taking clients in there instead of using it for what most everybody uses a bedroom for.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was like a big step for me. But at that moment, since I was still in the process of like getting used to the US, I come from a third world country and we're like, we struggle every day. To me, it was like an extra struggle. But I'm like, okay, if I switch countries, I had to learn a new language. I just did all of this. Why can I not do this? You know what I mean? So to me, it was like, I'm just gonna do it. Again, I was not thinking about having like this huge company, this huge name or whatever. I was just like, I just love what I do. So to me, yeah, it's a job, because you get stressed out on finding clients, because obviously you want to create some sort of income to like survive, right? But then again, if you see 3 clients a day, I was just happy. I was like, okay, I'm charging $10 an eyebrow. I made $30 today. I'll put it back on the savings box, and that's how I would do it.
Mhm.
But something I will tell you is that since I started using Instagram, I always treated my business as if I was a big company. Like, at all times, people will find me on Instagram, and then they're like, oh, where are you located? Now I wouldn't give them my address because it was my home address. So I'm like, for me to give you my location, you have to book an appointment. Some people got mad because they were like, okay, that's sketch. But then I was also sketched out about the client that was requesting to
Yeah.
book the appointment. So we were like, are you gonna book or not? So that's how you start. Like, you just have to like take a leap of faith on yourself, and always treat yourself, your company, even if you're a small business, as you are like this huge corporation already. So if somebody will send me a DM or make even call me, I was always answering the phone like, oh, like if I had like a whole team and it was only me in my bedroom, so I think that's very important, and that's also something that kind of like stayed in my brain, like kind of like helps you grow faster when you see yourself already big, in a sense. It's like you're kind of like manifesting that thing, you know?
I always say it's really helpful for me when I go backwards from my goal. So, like, what's the end goal? And then and every time I do things, it's for that goal up there. So I feel like similarly to what you're saying, it's like you picture yourself as if you're already there,
Hmm.
because you're going to maneuver yourself to get to that exact place differently, and I think more effectively, and hopefully in a faster pace, because you know where you're going. You're not just like
Hmm.
turning left, turning right. And I think that that's so amazing. And I think it's too really cool that you did this on your own, really. You know what I mean? Like, I think too, whenever and what year was that, wherever you opened your business?
I always I'm so bad with dates, but I think it was like 2016.
Which I always like to put a note on, because I'm like, people don't understand too. In 2016, there weren't all these resources that there
Oh
is
no.
now, right? Now, if you want to open your business, like, there's help. There's people that you can pay to learn from. There's programs that you can take. There's just so much more out there. Instagram is a really big helper. Podcasts are amazing.
Hmm.
But when you started in 2016, it was not the same world,
No.
especially in this industry.
Absolutely, yes. So I see that you also have like an ebook for like whoever wants to start like on their own suite, like those things that you didn't have any of those things before. It was like, I'm gonna figure it out, and if I lose money on the way, okay. Like the risk was a little bit bigger because you were like a little bit blindsided. You're like, okay, I don't know where I'm going. I just know I have this end goal, and whatever I had to go through whatever I have to go through get there, I just have to do it. So back then it was a little bit different. I just make it sound like I'm super old, but it's like 2016 was yesterday. But everything has evolved so much that, like you said, you can pay a trainer to teach you, to put eyelash extensions. And then you can pay a mentor to help you open up your business. And then you can pay somebody else to like get you a list of suppliers. Like, like there's so much resources not right now.
No, there definitely is. Now, when you look at where you've been, because you've done a lot and you have, like I said, you manufacture products and things like that. Like, where has been your biggest, like, moment where you're like, damn, I do not know how to do this at all? Like, where has been like the part where you look back on and you're like, that was hard, but you're there?
I feel like finding the right manufacturer, I was very sketched out about everybody, because especially, like a lot of them, they reach out to you, or they have their factories overseas. So it's like the constant thought of like, are they going to scam me? Because I mean, you have to. People think that you order 10 pieces and that's what you start with. No, when we say that we're sold out, it's because we're literally sold out like 7,000 pieces of something that we just ordered. And that 7,000, pieces, it costs you like almost 20 grand or over 20 grand. So it's like,
Yep.
you're risking this so much money. You're like, okay, those $20,000, they translate into 5 years of hard work. I can lose that in 5 seconds. So to me, it was like finding the right manufacturer that I connect with, and then it made me feel like I was making the right choice. Like, to me, that was like the hardest part. After that, it's just, after you know them and after you get to see like their quality of work and they listen to your requests and you guys work on improving the product together, you'll start building a relationship with, the rep of the factory. So I guess like the hardest part was to start and just like trust the person. Because to me, I never had any loans. I never got into that to do anything when it comes to business. So it was pretty much money that I have saved. And to me was like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm doing this with the right person and that I don't get scammed. So I feel like that's like the hardest part.
I'm like, you're speaking my like entire life right now. I'm like, I have I've had such a hard time finding people like in this exact industry who understand that exact fear, because it's like we deal with people here in the US, like clients and things like that, but like you have to put a lot of not only trust but money. Like the amount of money, I think people are very have a lot of misconceptions about starting like a online business with physical products, because I'm like, if people knew how much I spent so far on Enso, they would have a fucking heart attack. Like
Mm-hmm.
they would be like, okay, never mind. Like I'm out. I wouldn't even think of doing that. But like I feel you. It took me months to find my manufacturer at Enso, and I love them so much. I've actually had nothing but amazing experiences, but there's still something in my brain. I wake up like constantly with fears
It's
about
yeah,
what can be.
the anxiety, it's real. Like in your case, what's so amazing about your product is that you're trying to create something different, like unique, because you're patent pending, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing that, it's like you spend even more money because now you have to go into product development digitally, and then you have to bring it in live. And how about if what we did digitally doesn't work and the physical product, now we had to tweak it. Now I had to pay two different people to make that work, and then let's run that again. It's like the testing process, testing it for months, because it's not like, oh, the product looks pretty, it's done, let's launch it to the market. No, you have to test it for a while and see how the quality is. Like, if I clean it after 6 months, is it going to maintain the paint? How about if I leave it on all night, is it going to shut down? Like, you have to like think about all the scenarios, because to be honest, the American market, it's so demanding
Yes.
that even a tiny scratch sets them off.
Oh, I know.
It's like
I'm like,
it's
I
like,
know.
lady, I understand. I
Yeah, because you're
understand.
like, and I get it. You at some point you're like, I get it, but then it's like, are you kinder to products that you buy on like a like not your products? Like, because I feel like nowadays when I buy products and they don't come perfect, I'm like so much more understanding about it. I'm like, yeah, but if they're
A
it's fine,
hundred
it's
percent.
fine.
I mean, it's like imagine, like, right now you're a service provider.
Yeah.
Before being a service provider, if you go to a restaurant and you got a bad service, you're like, oh, the service is horrible, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna live tip. Now you're a service provider. If you go to a restaurant and you didn't get the best service, you're like finding solutions or like finding reasons why the service wasn't good. Oh, maybe she had a bad day. I'm gonna give her $20 tip. Oh, maybe the restaurant has bad management. Like, you're so much more understanding because you're on their shoes. You know what I mean? But like, the market here is so demanding that people are lacking empathy. So I feel like, they forget that these companies are run by humans. We're not freaking robots. I'm not making the wax warmer with my own hands, but it's my design. So you're like kind of like insulting me when you're telling me
Totally.
that because it has a little scratch, the product works perfectly. But just the way like some people complain sometimes, it's just like, it's so sad. Honestly, that's the truth. It's so sad. But that happens only like 5% of the time, like
Yeah.
once every 3 months. At
Yep.
the beginning, I feel like my anxiety levels were so high because it was a new product. I was, like new on social media. I'm like, nobody knows me. Whoever buys this product, they're just so much easier to complain because I'm a nobody. So it's like
Mhm.
I was always having this constant anxiety of like, okay, when I'm gonna wake up today, I'm gonna have 20 emails of people complaining about the quality. And I did have them at first. And that's the thing of having to launch a product. You'll have people giving you feedbacks, but at the same time, you also start to notice that your first buyers are people that they love your work and love you as a person, that just supporting your brand. So the feedback that you'll receive, it's so much more kinder. So
Mhm.
they'll let you know, like, hey, I bought these tweezers, they were not as sharp as they were at the beginning or whatever. So you start to improve your product without telling the rest of the world. So something that you do behind the doors, because it's just the process of, like, it's like raising a child. At 2 years old, I'm on the terrible twos right now.
Love that for
They're
you.
a mess. They're a mess. It's like, how do I correct all those things? But before that, she was an angel. It's like, it's the same thing. You have to, like, constantly reshape everything that you have, so it's like this perfect thing that you always imagine. So it's a process that never stops, but that's the beauty of it. It's like it pushes your limits. You get to know yourself in the process. You get to know your community in the process. And when they start to notice that you're listening to their feedback, they even love your brand so much more.
I was even gonna tie, because we're both moms, another kid analogy in it, because I'm like, business kind of reminds me of having a kid in this way. Because in a lot of ways they're nothing alike. Like I always say, I'd rather run my business 7 times over than like have 7 kids. Like, because like I'm like, you can't control your kid. I'm like, listen, I try to raise my kid great
True.
and nice and all the things, but like at the end of the day, my kid is his own self, and that in itself is just a challenge. But I say, like, when it comes to business and kids, it's kind of the same. It's like your kid could have such a bad day and bring on so many bad moments in your day that you're just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
But then the second your kid has like a good moment, it like overpowers all of the bad in the day. Like it's just something
Exactly.
that only I feel like a mom can be like, yes, that is exactly the truth, because we all feel it. And that's exactly how I feel about business. So it's like products and having those clients or those customers complaining, right? It may seem like a lot, but then you'll get that one customer who's like, you and your tweezers made my day so much better. It really impacted the way that I do my
Mhm.
business as an esthetician. And like, in my opinion, I think that that one positive masks over all of the negative.
Absolutely, absolutely. The brain tends to get stuck on negative news or negative moments. Like, let's say you wake up in the morning, and as soon as you grab your phone, you just read about this very sad or like negative something that happened in the world, and that stuck with you all day. And then the next post could be about somebody opening a new organization to help kids. You don't even think about it, you just get stuck with the negative. So, like, what you're saying is so important that we take that into account, because you'll get negative reviews here and there because you have to please millions of people, and it's impossible. Some people will say, like, your product is a waste of money, and others will say, I love it, I'll repurchase this 1,000 times. So you have to, like, stick to the ones that will repurchase your product 1,000 times, but also kind of like listen with an objective mind. Why this person didn't love my product? Is it something that I didn't do for her? What can I improve? Maybe it could be a comment of, like, she was just trying to, like, bitch to somebody and vent because she had a horrible day, because that happens,
Mm-hmm.
and has nothing to do with the quality of your product. But it's like you have to, like, balance yourself out. Like, what I do personally is that compliments, I love them and I take them, but I don't believe in 100%, because that will mean that if I receive a bad comment, I will believe that 100% too. I'll receive it with all the love, I'll compliment you back, but it's not something that sticks to my ego all day long. You know what I mean? Because if you give me a bad comment, then it will stick to me all day long, maybe forever, because you don't know how a bad comment will impact somebody. And especially when somebody's talking about your business and your creation, you take in so much more personally. It's like somebody insulting your kid. It's like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? it's the best kid in the world. Like, you know what I mean?
My eyes like my kid, not my kid.
Exactly. So it's like, it's tough, but we'll learn in the process on how to like balance those things, and you know, it will get better. I promise you. I'm there. We'll get better.
Well, and then too, like you said, of course, I know we're talking a lot about products and stuff like that, but I think just the overall esthetician and relating this to their clients,
Hmm.
like you're going to have clients that are going to come in and not enjoy anything about your
Yep.
service, and they're not going to
Yeah.
enjoy your conversation, and they're not going to enjoy your anything.
Experience. Yeah.
But there's going to be clients that will. And so you're right. It's like, I love that you said that you don't take 100% to heart of anything, because that means that you have to also do the negative, and we should never, right? We tell everyone not to do that to the negative.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So yeah, it's the same thing when it goes to when it comes to services. It's like you can have a client that she made your day like bad. Like one time I had a client that she made me almost threw up. Like as soon as she come in, like her energy was so heavy. Like when you have somebody, I don't know if this ever happened to you. As soon as she came in, she was like, when am I gonna be done? And do you speak English? And, da, 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 da. And I was just like, what is this? Like, what are you even doing here? It's like these people wake up one day and they're like, I'm gonna fuck somebody's day.
And I want to get my eyebrows done doing it.
Exactly. And I'm gonna get them for free because I'm gonna pay so much that she'll give me that shit for free. And I'm like, bro, these people are nuts. Like, what? I'm like, please don't ever come back. Thank you, ban. But yeah, it happens. It happens.
Going into a topic that I want to talk about with you, because we were talking about it before we hit record. And now everybody's probably hearing me being like, damn, Kirsten, you sound so much better. And that's because, folks, my microphone was on the wrong thing. So you're going to still hear me, but maybe you're going to hear me very clearly right now.
Yeah, now you
Okay.
can hear the sexy voice.
Yes. So, one of the topics that I want to talk to you about, and I think I really would love to talk to you about this because I find you so intriguing on social media. I just genuinely love the vibe. I think you share a perfect amount of business and tips, but like a little sprinkle of personal life so you get to know who you are too. And like let's just talk about social media, cuz you've grown a lot. And yeah, how do you feel? How do you feel around
So
this topic?
social media, it has been tough. At first, when I was starting out, Instagram was like the platform in where you had to like blast out your business. Like back then we used to use Snapchat or Twitter, but I feel like that was more for like personal stuff. I feel like Twitter is like the dark place, like the dark journal, in where you just like share your thoughts.
You're like that fucking client that came in a bad mood today.
Exactly. The client will be on Twitter. Exactly. And then Snapchat was more like, to fuck around, like take pictures on a party, drunk, whatever. So Instagram was like the platform in where businesses were trying to like use as a portfolio. So at first I'm like, oh my God, how do I like get likes and whatever? It's like, it was like so, you felt like so much of the pressure. So I would post nonstop. The good thing about it is that it was so new that it was a little bit easier to like find reach. So that helped. But like the aesthetic pictures, the good lighting, like all that stuff, you wouldn't use that. You would use like those like black and white weird filters that they would have. It was like a weird era, right? But then it became harder when new platforms will start to come out, and when Instagram will tell you or ask you to like do something different. Because okay, I'm just like learning how to use this algorithm, and then now it completely changed, and you're like, what the fuck?
Dude,
Like,
Instagram loves that. Instagram loves when something becomes popular on another platform. They're like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take that. And now you guys figure that out. And we're like,
exactly.
if we wanted to do that, we would go to that platform.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Like that you can get probably more viral on TikTok, but now to manage a bunch of different platforms because they all behave different, it's different. Like if you let's say you do a reel on Instagram, it might not do as good as on TikTok because TikTok loves more of an organic content. No filters, pretty lighting, but it's like no like a bunch of like weird transitions. You know what I mean? Like Instagram is a little bit different. So to like please all the platforms has become something that is really challenging, and I just gave up. I'm like, Instagram is my platform. I'll post here and there when I feel like it on TikTok. We still have clients. I don't even know how they found us through TikTok. I guess the hashtags, but we're not even trying to like push TikTok as much because it just becomes so much. And I also have the WH Cosmetics page. I personally have social media managers for both, but they still have to run content through me. Like if I see like a cute meme or like a cute real idea, it has to be me, the one that's guiding them. That's part of being like the boss.
Well, and it has
Uh,
to be sometimes you being the one to do it on camera. I mean, you still have
right.
to like, yeah,
Show
they
up.
can help assist you in all of this stuff. But like, if you want to do a cute reel and that involves you walking into your studio or that involves you talking to a client, like that
Yep.
still has to be coming from you.
Oh my god, yes.
It's
So
freaking
my brain
hard.
is, yeah, my brain has like a bunch of like it has like 1,000 tabs open, and then I forget about some of those tabs. So like imagine my day goes like I walk into the studio, I have clients back to back, and then okay, my client's running 15 minutes late. I can just do this quick video real quick, or I can just sit down and do inventory in 15 minutes, or let me like choke on my food. Like it's like so much that you have to do. I love it though, because when I have a slow, normal, and calm day, I'm not having my best time. I'm like, where's the craziness? I need some craziness. But going back to social media, it's something like it's fun too. I have become a little bit OCD of what I post, because if it doesn't match, like if I have three brow posts at the same time, I'll have a heart attack. Like I have to have like diversity. So I'm very big on memes because it's like shareable content. We try to make them as unique as possible and going towards our community, so they're more like relatable in a sense. Like I try not I make fun of what with about client situation without bashing my clients, which I think is very important.
Very
And
important.
I feel like it works with some pages, but I wonder, I'm like very intrigued on how is that impacting their books, because you as a business owner, you find a meme about another business owner bashing a client because it's super relatable. But like, would I have the courage to post that on my page? I don't think so, because I don't know like how will that impact my business. And now that I have a team, it's like it has so much weight. It's not like me on a suite only, and if I don't have a if that client walks out, I'll have a new one coming. It doesn't work like that for me.
Yeah, I love that perspective. I always tell, it's funny. This is what I always used to say to my clients, especially when I was doing like memes that were relatable. I would have many conversations with them and I'm like, trust me, if someone was really doing this to me, probably wouldn't post it. Like it's never about my like it's like it is because it happens to people, but like I don't ever specifically run a full scenario of an actuality
Yeah.
situation that's happened unless it's a client that I'll never see again. Those are like the only
Oh, or maybe the situation happened years ago and you're
years
talking
ago.
about it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if it's something recent, I don't know how people do it. I don't know if I should applaud them for being brave, or if I should be like, is that good? Because when they post screenshots of like text messages, oh, this is why I enforce my policies, and I'm like, I get it, but it's like necessary to like put her out there like that. It's like I don't know, like it's just something that to me it's like a fine line. It's like it can
Yeah.
be very tricky, but I don't have a thicker skin to deal with those situations, and some other people do. There's people that are more bold, like they're bolder, and they can take the heat. I know I can take the heat, so it's like if
No,
they
my heart will
get,
explode. My heart will
yeah.
fully explode out of
So
my
you'll have people like that, they don't care about posting a screenshot, and they just have a bunch of like arguments on the DMs. They love it. They live for that shit. I don't have the skin to deal with that, so I just rather to like stay away from it. And if I want to make fun of a situation, I'll just make it into a cute, funny reel or meme that's more like humor, comedy, not like I'm bashing
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. It's like turning it into a great twist, which is like an art, right? Because technically, yeah, you are
Yes.
venting, but like in a way that your client would even think is funny.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly. Exactly.
that's the perfect way to do it. I think it's like, "Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, am I that client?" And then like them
Exactly.
also think that it's funny. Like that's
Which
I think
happens in the comments. You'll see clients, oh, that's me, haha, and you're like, yes, bitch, yeah, you're always running late.
And then they're like, but then I feel like too that exactly like a late one is like if your clients are always running late, but then come with coffee. Like that's
Yeah,
always like a good twist, right? Because it's like we're complaining that clients are late, which is super annoying, but then we're saying, but if you bring me a coffee, I'm less mad. I don't know. I'm like
right,
it's like a positive reinforcement against a negative like situation. So I'm like,
right,
there's always better ways to go about it. But yeah,
right.
like I mean, for me, like obviously we were talking about Instagram and stuff, and I have two pages that I run now too, and I'm just like I'm so exhausted. And I felt for the longest that I've been like on a wheel of like, all right, I got to get content out for TikTok and Instagram and emails and all of these things. But I actually not read, but I was listening to a podcast. I really like Boss Babe podcast with
Hmm.
Natalie and Danielle, if you know who those people are.
Yeah.
Um, and they talked about finding your like find what is like your favorite thing to do in your business and then just do that and then from there repurpose and like follow and trickle down the line. So like for instance, they were saying maybe you love planning emails, right? And like what you're going to talk about. So plan out your emails for the month, take all of the content out of those emails and then repurpose that into Instagram comments or content, TikTok content, but like utilize it from one place rather
Mm,
than just in your brain going, okay, this sounds like a good idea here, but then this sounds like a good idea. It's like, well, what's the message that
right.
you are trying to get out that month? And find ways to pull and dissect from something you've already created.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So, like, podcasting for me is a really good one because I get to have you guys and all of your knowledge. And then what I basically do is repurpose what we've talked about here and put it on different platforms with credit to you guys and videos and things like that. But it's fun
Hmm.
because I'm like, I don't have to feel like I'm in such a hamster wheel all the time. I just
Right.
gather from this to that. So, that was something that I learned last week. And I feel like very obligated to share it in case it helps you for the next
No,
time.
it's actually a good idea because you always get so stuck. Like you said, okay, let's say we're talking about the email organization. Oh, I'm gonna make a reel about email organization, and then you don't do it anymore. You know,
Yep.
it's like that's like a piece of content that I just have there, and that's it. But I feel like like you can just do it like that. But if you have two businesses, you have a team to deal with, your mom, your wife, it's like you're not even like trying to put too much thought into it. You're like, I had to post tonight at 10 p.m. That's it. Post
Mhm.
it and that's it. You're not even like thinking about like organizing your entire content. I know some people do. I personally don't do it. I'm more volatile in the sense of like, okay, this is trend. I like it. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm more like of an impulsive, I don't know, like content creator in a sense. I should organize myself a little bit better, but I feel like if I just make something in the moment, it will have like more of a hit. But that's just the way that
Totally.
that's just the
Mhm.
way I do stuff.
No, I can relate to that. I'm very much I try to be both, but it's hard because
Yeah.
it's easy to also strike when you're feeling creative. Like when I'm in the mood, I want to do it. And so like those are the moments that I just hit record and go and post. But then there's moments when I'm not feeling like I want to do it that I love having like a strategy of okay, on the moments that I don't want to do it, where can I pull from?
Right.
Because my brain can't handle it anymore. It's like
But like
fried.
I can't even speak for my life right now. Like how do you expect me to do a tutorial? Like I can't. Like I'm so tired. Like
I know.
to me it's like going in between two languages a day is exhausting. Trust me. You have no idea how tiring it is. And it's like to keep my customer service voice and like dress up cute and like it's just a lot every day. But I love it though. I wouldn't change it for anything. It might sound like we're complaining, but we're not, guys. I promise. It's just more like we're venting because it's like shareable. It's like relatable situations, and you guys might relate to it. You guys might say, "Yeah, it's true. I have to like smell good every day and like have my suite clean and all that stuff." But you wouldn't change it for anything on the world because this is what
No,
you love. This is a life that you chose, and if anything, it pushes you to be better and maybe like get new ideas to integrate into your business. So that's like the beauty of it.
I love that. And it's like, yeah, we have to do all of these things for our clients. And then Barbie and I get to go home. And then all of a sudden we get, Mom, 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 I'm hungry. I need this, Mom. And I'm like, my
Yeah.
brain just wants to like fall over and just go into a pillow and
Yeah,
never
yeah,
get
yeah.
up.
Yeah, but I feel like you're in your case, you have like such a sense, like such a good sense of humor, and I feel like that's something that I also have. So even when I'm trying, obviously I'll have my days when we're like, nobody talk to me, nobody
Yes.
touch me, give it my space. But most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, I take my things with good sense of humor, so it hurts
Yeah.
less.
It does
It's
hurt
like a,
less.
it's like a strategy. Like, "Mom," and I'm like, you should have. I love you. It's like,
No, I know.
but
I'm in the point of motherhood right now where it's like my son will be like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, okay, what do you want? And he'll just be like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, do you want, chicken nuggets or a pretzel? And he'll be like, chicken nuggets. And then I got to be like, because this is how kids are. Okay, do you want 3 chicken nuggets or 4? Because God forbid I put 3 on your plate and you want 4 chicken nuggets. And then he's like, 4. And I'm like, okay, do you want me to cook it in the oven or the air fryer? Because God forbid I
oh
do
my
one or the other.
god,
Yeah, I'm in a very,
I'm
very,
writing
and
down the tips.
here's the tip. They'll tell you everything they want and then you do it and it's wrong anywhere. Anyway, that's the tip.
Oh my
So
god.
continue the good humor.
Exactly.
Barbie, thank you so much for coming on here. I know that you shared that you have all of these social media platforms. So do you want to let everybody know where they can find and follow?
Yes, on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, you guys can follow me on Browaholics. And we also have our sister page, which is BWH Cosmetics for all professional tools. We have from tweezers, scissors to mapping strings. We're also launching mapping pens very soon. We're also launching basically for bar artists. And if you're looking to either add these products to your student kits or become a retailer, you can also do that because we have a little bit for everybody: clients, professionals, trainers, students, and so forth.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't believe
Thank you.
I've had this podcast for so long and you haven't been on, but I told you, I said, I have like people in my industry that I've been looking up to for so long. And I'm like, when do I ask them?
I love that.
And then of course, like as always predicted, everybody comes on here and they're amazing. And I'm just so grateful for you to have come on here and given me your time.
No, I appreciate you having me. And again, as I was telling you before you hit recorded, to me, it's like an honor to be accepted into the American community because I'm Hispanic. It's like, to me, I'm still trying. I have my ways. You guys have your ways, but I love it. I'm very, like, to me, it's an honor because you can imagine, coming from a different country to be accepted in another culture. It's a struggle for a lot of us. A lot of people don't fit in, and the fact that I'm invited to these type of conversations, and although my English is not perfect, I'm still here, raising my voice and like sharing my experience. To me, it's a pleasure. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
I mean, I love you. Everyone loves you. And I hope that you integrate yourself into as much of
Oh, for sure.
the brow industry as you can here because it's much needed and you're absolutely fantastic at your job. So thank you so
I
much.
appreciate it. Thank you.